Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 19 of What If Naruto was sent to the Marvel world. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, stay in tune because after this I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was some of the two greatest clans. So stay in tune for that. I'm also going to be posting What If Naruto was neglected by everyone. And also over on Anime King 2, I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was a deceitful god. And also, what if Naruto was a smart prodigy? So stay in tune for that and I hope you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So, the last spot we left off, Jason captured Victor's family, including Victor. As he asked him, he sent 3 men 3 days ago to assassinate Wilson Fisk. As Victor didn't want to answer at first, as Jason put a bullet in his wife and his son's head. As Victor started to cry, as he started to cry even more as he quickly answered. But it didn't matter because Jason told his other man to kill them. As 2 gunshots went off as his daughter and him were killed. Jason then went to the car as he gave the information towards his employer to tell Mr. Fisk who the 3rd man was. Suddenly his window was break open as someone started to beat the crap out of him. The last thing he saw was a boot connecting with his head, knocking him out. While all of that was going on, Naruto raided the gang house as Jessica was outside watching as she couldn't believe what she was hearing as tons of gunfire was going off. As Naruto came out unscathed, untouched, as she asked him if he's like her, if he has the same curse like her, but he told her he's nothing like her. Meanwhile, Jason woke up as he was surrounded by strange people. There was a man there as well that had the tattoo of Naruto. Sage Cloak, his second cloak, as these people were a cult of Naruto, as they call him the Flaming Man, as they burned Jason, as they gave a sacrifice to the Flaming Man. So officially Naruto has his new cult. Meanwhile, Naruto brought Jessica home as she was rather drunk after they decided to get a few drinks. As Naruto was interrupted by a knock in late night, as Jason's wife came and asked if Jessica could help her find her husband. But Jessica was asleep, so Naruto took the information. As he stayed there, the next morning Trish came over, as Trish quickly went into her purse after seeing Naruto, thinking that he was trying to rob or do something. But she recognized him, as Jessica was still asleep, as Trish said that she would get Jessica something to eat. As she and Naruto went along, as the both of them were there, as they talk and get to know each other. Also, the government wanted Naruto to be under control, as they sent one of their representatives to talk to Tony, as they told Tony to find him and they want to have a meeting with him, as Tony said that him and Steve would be there as well to represent the kid. And Tony told him to watch themselves because last time Nick Fury tried to do something like that to manipulate the kid, and he got out with just a punch, and the kid kind of liked Nick Fury. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch your contemplation and check it for yourself. So, what do you say we begin this new episode? Naruto and Trish were walking through the apartment complex as they were going to Jessica. I can't believe you know Krav Maga, Naruto said. That's some brutal shit. Trish shrugged. If someone's attacking me, what do you expect? For me to fight them with something weak? No, you see, you just don't come across as a person to snap someone arm, Naruto said, the laugh. Well, I'm not that good yet. As she then glanced at Naruto, I can probably kick your ass though. Oh really, Naruto said. Are you challenging me to a spar, Cobra Kai? If anyone is a karate kid in this scenario, it's me. Trish challenged. And that is if you can fight. That's a very Cobra Kai thing to say, Naruto said. You two seem pretty chummy, said a voice. As Trish jumped at the sound of Jessica's voice behind them, as Naruto simply turned and raised the eyebrow. Sup, he said. What are you doing, said Trish. Morning coffee, said Jessica as she raised up the cup in her hand. It's 3 o'clock, Jessica said. The shower wasn't enough to wake me up, Jessica said, but this was. Well, you're lucky that Naruto was there with you. If he weren't, who knows where you'd end up by now, after drinking so much. What should you say, she said. It is his fault we drink so much in the first place. But Trish still stared at her. Fine. Thanks, Whiskers, said Jessica. Naruto's eyebrow twitched at Jessica's name. Real original, he said. I will come up with one better if you want. I am sure I'll think of something. You act like we're gonna be spending more time together, Naruto said, smiling, while feeling a slight confusion over the woman's words. Well, she said, I saw that you got me a job while I was asleep. A job I would usually refuse. But seeing that you stick your nose into it, you're going to help me deal with this woman. I never met her and I would rather avoid the awkwardness of me having been unconscious while you being a buffer. Huh? You gonna pay me? Naruto said. I'll pay for lunch, she said with a fake smile. I already ate, Naruto said. The cab fare then, she said. Fine, Naruto said. I wasn't really doing a whole lot anyway. Jessica, Trish said, with a smile and a pointed look on her face. Mind if I talk to you in the bedroom? Do I have to? Jessica said. Yes, Trish said. She then turned. We're leaving in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere, she said to Naruto. She then brought Jessica in the room. What's going on? Trish asked. What? Asked Jessica, confused. Why are you bringing him? You've never done anything like this. What's the angle? There is no angle. There is always an angle with you, Trish said. Anytime you do something you normally don't, there's an angle to it. I know you, Jessica. Jessica put on a sweet voice. Well, did you ever stop and think that I may have a crush on him? Jessica, she said. Seriously? As Jessica shrugged, if I swear that I don't have anything planned, would you just drop it? Trish nodded. Swear to me then. I swear. Not enough, said Trish. Alright, I swear I don't have any angle planned for him. Not in any way, scheme or form. If I break this oath, may I be struck down by the power that be. Happy? Not really, Trish said. Jessica started to walk out of the room. Just do what I do then. Not everyone can afford to drink, no matter the time of day, Jess, said Trish. That's not what I'm saying, said Jessica as she walked out. As she saw Naruto and it looked like white smoke was coming off of him. Let's go, Blondie. Meanwhile, location Kathmandu. How pissed do you think she's gonna be when she realized I'm not really there? Naruto said. Going off her stunning personality, I would say quite a bit, said Kurama. She'll get over it, Naruto said. I think she'll be more put off that I can make clone of myself instead of being pissed about said fact. Fair enough. How long are we going to have to wait here? Asked Kurama. As Naruto was walking through the garden at Kamertage. It is weird not to see anyone walking around, Naruto said. This place was always bustling when I was here. As he was walking, he heard a commotion over to the dojos. As he slid the door open, he found himself in the middle of what looked like a spar. But he couldn't really see because a massive amount of people filled the dojo. As Naruto slid through the sea of students, as he elbowed his way to the front of the mob. As he came up to see, as he was surprised when he saw Ileana get slammed in the face by a vicious palm strike. As she stumbled back, the man shook his hand. As Naruto looked at him, he was wearing the standard training uniform. His black hair was a little shaggy, with specks of white whisking across his temple, and a rocket beard sitting on the underside of his face. As the man slipped back into his stance, waiting for Ileana as she spat out a glob of blood. She then dashed forward as she swung a tornado kick at his head, but he ducked under it, as he then tilted his body and jumped away. She tried to close that space, but he was doing a brilliant job. not making her catch him. As Naruto could tell that Ileana was getting frustrated as she sent attacks after attacks at this man, but he blocked them or dodged them with ease. Finally, she let her exhaustion take over, and she slipped for a moment. That was all the man needed, as he grabbed her and flipped her over his shoulder as she hit her back with a hard thud. As he pressed his body weight on Ileana's neck with his knee, as he raised his hand like he was about to jab her. "Yield," he said. Ileana choked out for breath. "Screw off, Strange," she said. As Strange looked at her, he then brought down his hand. "Enough!" Naruto looked up to see that Mordo had stepped in, with a stern look on his face as he waited for the two to separate. As Strange get up off of her, he reached out with a helping hand. She glared at him for a second, but she finally took his hand as he helped her up. She stepped away from him as she waited for Mordo to speak. As Mordo waited, as he flicked his hand a bit, the both of them turned to each other as they gave each other a bow. "Return to your duties," the man said. "The show is over," as the crowd dispersed. All that remained was the four of them: Mordo, Strange, Ileana, and Naruto. When they realized someone stayed despite Mordo's command, the two students turned to see who dared defy the master. At seeing Naruto, Ileana wanted to speak to him, but she didn't because the master spoke. "Both of you have improved in your techniques tremendously. However, I think we can all agree you have much to learn. Ileana, you wasted your energy on your frustrations, allowing yourself to fall to exhaustion much sooner than you should have. Strange, you're too focused on your hands. Stop allowing your bluntness to control your fighting style. Stop fearing the pain, but rather, move past it, understood?" "Yes, Master Mordo," the two of them said, but Strange words came out a bit forced more than Ileana's did. Mordo then turned as his face relaxed. "Now, how may I help you, Uzumaki?" "What's the matter, Mordo? Don't tell me I'm not allowed to visit a few friends." "I'm sorry." Naruto turned as the man named Strange spoke. "But who are you?" Naruto looked the man up and down. "Where I'm from, it's best and common courtesy for a person to state their name before asking for another." Strange scoffed. "And where I'm from, common courtesy is for the mental stagnant." Naruto chuckled. Well, Mordo, it seems like your student have a mouth on him. I'm surprised you haven't beat it out of him yet." Mordo sighed. "Here I come a touch. We do not beat insubordination out of our students. We are to mold the mind and body, not break it." As he gestured toward the student, "This is Mr. Stephen Strange. He has been studying under the Ancient One for over a year now." "It's Dr. Stephen Strange," said Strange, as he turned his attention back to Naruto. "And forgive me for being curious, but I can't help but wonder what the Avenger is doing here at Kamartage." "So, you do know who I am," Naruto said. "Yes, I know of you. Who you are still remained a mystery." "My name's Naruto, and I'm not an Avenger. I just joined in on the fun." Ileana scoffed. "And by fun you mean an alien invasion." Steven nodded. "You are all over the news. The Mystery Avenger, they call you. You had quite the fan club, but like the rest of the Avengers, you never popped up again. Even the guy with the hammer showed up in London 2 years ago." "Once again, I'm not an Avenger," Naruto said. "Then what are you?" Strange asked. "Just a guy that wants to talk to your master." He then turned to Mordo. "She around?" Mordo nodded. "Always. Follow me." Meanwhile, with Jessica and the Naruto clone, Naruto was shoved up against the wall. "You know, if you wanted to have your way with me, you didn't have to do it in this alley," Naruto said. "Shut your mouth," she said to him. "I know what you are. You're not even like the rest of the Avengers. You're him. The Flaming Man. The Man of Flames. You're the goddamn Maelstrom." "Huh? You looked me up," Naruto said. "I'm a PI after all," she said. "Looking you up took almost no effort at all. You're all over the internet. Pictures, sightings, story from the people you saved, description of your abilities. While you and the Avengers fought through Manhattan, you had hundreds of doppelgangers saving the civilians from the destruction that they caused." "You said there wasn't an angle with you bringing me along," Naruto said. What happened to that? And I also suppose you knowing about that is going to make this easier. What? She asks. She then realized, you're a doppelganger, aren't you? I prefer clone. And don't get too pissed at the boss. He's a little busy today. I am not the only clone he's got wandering around. Hell, he's got hundreds of us going to each cities to place a hierarchy marker, but he was cut off. As Jessica slammed her fist in his jaw, as he poofed away. Said woman just flapped away the smoke from her face. The hell? Now alone she wondered if this was one of his tricks. Well shit, she said, after realizing that he wouldn't come back. She then jumped as another Naruto appeared right in front of her, out of nowhere, as he had a scowl on his face. Don't do that. The boss made another clone. I'm a bit tougher than the last one, but if you hit me like how you did him, I'll pop for sure. And if you pop me, you don't get another one. Jessica rolled her eyes. That was a love tap, she said. If I were anyone else, you would have caved my skull in. You seriously need to learn how to control your strength. What's the point of having it if you constantly have to worry about if you're going to kill someone or not? I have control, Jessica said. I made sure of that after, but she suddenly stopped, as she took a few steps back, as she started to mutter, Burke Street, Picken Drive, Cobar Lane, as she kept muttering those words over and over and over, as she calmed herself down. The clone walked up to her. Jessica, are you alright? He asked. She brushed him off. I'm fine, let's just go, she said. As the clone sighed, this is gonna be a long ass day. Meanwhile, location, Washington, D.C. Another Naruto clone sighed as he felt the memories of the other clone dispel flooding in. I wonder if boss will send another clone to babysit that woman. As he walked through a wide park, as he scanned gravestones after gravestones until he catched the one that he wanted. Nicholas Fury. Born 1948, died 2014. As Naruto saw something there to read. The path of a righteous man. But someone spoke for him. The path of a righteous man is beset upon all sides by iniquities, of the selfish and the tyranny of evil man. Blessed is he who, of the name of shepherding and the goodwill, because the shepherd would guide the weak through the valley of the darkness. For he is truly his brother keeper and the find of lost children. Ezekiel 25:17. I knew it, Naruto said. It's kinda hard to believe that this meeting is a coincidence. Fury smirked down at Naruto. I've been waiting for a moment when you are alone, but you are always with Miss Jones or walking in a public area. Then I got a tip you were wandering around Washington. It wasn't too hard to put two and two together. And I figure you wouldn't believe it. Did anyone give it away? As he had rather plain clothes on with a hoodie and glasses. Steve. Bless the man, but he's nowhere near as good as a liar as Maria or Natasha. Well, Naruto looked up. I didn't take you for a religious man, director. Or did death open your eyes to it? Not so much religion. It's the wonder of cinema. Every time I watched that movie, I thought I was a shepherd, taking in all of them, bringing them together. But now I realize I am not the shepherd, no matter how hard I think I am. I am not the tyranny of evil man either. I am the weak, and no matter how hard I try, I can never be the thing I hope to be. Call it destiny, or the hand of God, or just plain bad luck. But you and I, both know what it was. It was weakness, plain and simple. That weakness allowed Hydra to pester and shield. It allowed me to consider using Tesseract as a weapon. It pushed me to make Natasha spy on you, to betray you. And whether it really mattered in the end, it convinced me that keeping you here was more important than telling you the truth so that you could go home. As he paused. And for that, I'm sorry, he said. Was there ever a moment where she didn't want to? Did she ever hesitate near to ask? All the time, said Nick. One of the few times she ever did. That is why I tried to convince you to break it off. She was compromised. For the first time since she's come and worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., I've questioned her loyalty, and that scared me. As Naruto laughed, so if you're as weak as you say, and you're not the shepherd, what does that make me, the shepherd? No, Fury said. and I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and fury and anger for those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. That's the second half of the passage. And you think that's me, Naruto asks. No, but if something can become, said Fury. Then what, Naruto said. The righteous man, of course. He reached into his pocket as he pulled out a plain looking flash drive that had the word secret written on it. I hope you consider this is my first step towards redemption. As he offered the flash drive towards Naruto. Naruto looked at the flash drive as he slowly took it. I'll keep that in mind, he said. That flash drive contained all of S.H.I.E.L.D. encrypted information and files, minus the encrypted part. As he walked away, and give Natasha a second chance, would you? You will need as many friends as you can get. Call it intuition. What a day, Naruto said as he placed the flash drive in his pocket. As he then received memories from another clone, Death. As he processed the information, yeah, what a goddamn day, he said, as he flashed away towards the boss. Meanwhile, sliding off his shoes, Naruto entered the Ancient One meditating room, as the entourage was behind him. Why are you even here, Ilyana said to Strange. You were trying to provoke him to fight you. Only 5 minutes ago, you don't even know him. I wasn't trying to provoke a fight, and excuse me for being curious to find out why a total stranger wants to talk to Master. Don't you think it's a little odd? How is it odd, said the Ancient One, as she heard them. It's been nearly 7 years since we brought him here. We made quite the impression in his stay here, so it is only natural that we're overjoyed when he comes to visit. Isn't that right, Master Mordo? Mordo nodded. He certainly isn't a stranger. And it was Uzumaki here that sponsored Miss Ilyana apprenticeship here at Kamartage. He looked towards the 2 students at the door. Come, I am sure they have much to discuss. Both Ilyana and Steve looked ready to argue, but she calmed down after receiving a reassuring look from Naruto, as seeing that Strange didn't want to leave. Perhaps your time would be spent controlling your fears, Dr. Strange, rather than hovering over a conversation that does not concern you. And what fear would that be? Pain, said Strange. Maybe one of these days I'll tell you, Naruto said. Mordo pushed Strange out of the room as he slowly shut the door behind him, but you could hear him reprimanding him outside. As the Ancient One smiled, you have me curious, Naruto. What do you believe fear is? I got the ability to detect negative emotions, fear being one of them. If I really concentrate, I can pick up on what is driving that sense of fear. As he smirked, even yours. A surprised look came on our face, but it faded rather quickly. So what have you picked up on my latest student? He feared the same thing as me, Naruto said. Failure. How poetic, the Ancient One said. Now then, what is it that I can do for you? Is this really a good idea, brat? Considering what you're going to ask her, revolve around her fear. You know how bad this is going to go. Naruto, ignore Kurama for a second. I came here because I went through something strange with a fight with Izak. And that would be, she asked, as she sipped some of her tea. Death, Naruto said. As her sound of taking the tea stopped, as she quickly put down the cup. Excuse me, I must have misheard you. No, Naruto said, I meant the physical manifestation of death. It wasn't a dream or an illusion. She was as real as you or me. She? Naruto nodded. I was just curious. Have you ever heard of anything like that before? I can't say I have. I've experienced and meet many things, but to meet death itself is even beyond my scope of understanding. What was it like exactly? Cold, devoid of anything except for my senses. It was like floating in a survival pocket of space, where I was touching nothing. Then she was there, and it was strange. It was like I know her for my entire life. She made it sound like she was connected to me in some way as well. Did she elaborate on the source of that connection? He shrugged. Something about my seal. Perhaps then you need to explore the inner workings of your seal. You see that it's like a tunnel system. Have you ever tried exploring it? Moving past Kurama? Naruto shook his head. I'd never seen the point. As he scratched his chin. It's worth a try, I suppose. Well, she said as she picked up her tea. I believe that Miss Ileana wishes to speak to you. I believe I've kept you long enough. Well, thanks for the advice. I owe you one, Naruto said. You know, I'm gonna have to figure out your real name. Calling you the Ancient One always seemed really weird. As he gave a bow as he walked away. But what he didn't see was that her facade was broken, as her hands were shaking as she gripped them rather tight as she was calming her nerves. As she couldn't even hold the tea anymore. Back at Ileana's apartment, nice place, Naruto said. I didn't know that they let people come and go as they please. Well, my abilities. Make any complaint about where I go a moot point. Fair enough, Naruto said. What's up with that strange guy? He's just got a chip on his shoulder, thanks to his hands. Seeing Naruto's confusion, she explained more. He messed them up really badly about 3 years ago. Apparently, he was a world-renowned surgeon, but because of his injury, he was forced on leave. After throwing away all of his money on surgery, he went to Kamatoj a few months before I showed up. He's the latest prodigy in magic. The latest one since Kiselius. Recognizing the name, Naruto spoke. Isn't that one of the masters of Kamatoj? Former master. He went rogue a year ago before I joined. People still talk about him though. Well, I'm not surprised, since he killed the librarian the day that he defected. Damn, Naruto said, as he remembered the librarian as a nice but strict man, as he will have to keep an eye out for that guy. Ileana raised her eyebrow. Is this why you came here? To grill me about strange and traders I don't know? No, Naruto said, I'm here because I have a proposition for you. She blinked in surprise. A lot of thoughts flying through her head. A proposition? Like what, she asked. You better not ask if you can stay here. Well, I don't mind, it's just that this place is not made for two. As she looked at the bed, as Naruto saw a blush appear on her face. Naruto sat down on the couch. You know why I was gone for so long, right? My deal with Thor of Asgard. Ileana nodded. You're looking for those stones, right? Infinity Stones, Naruto corrected. During the fight in New York, I met the guy behind all of it, and he's fierce. He's dead set on causing as much damage to the universe as he can, and he's looking for these stones to help him do it. I managed to get my hands on 2 of them, and I know 2 of them are here on Earth. But the last are out there for him to get what he wants. And he only needs 1 to do an unspeakable amount of damage. But if you have 2 yourself, you can fight him off, right? Said Ileana. I could, but I can't say for sure if I would survive. And even if I did, we would cause a lot of damage where I were. I almost destroyed a planet with one of these stones, and I wasn't meaning to, Naruto said as he sighed. But it doesn't matter that I have 2 of my own, because I don't have full control of the power. I mostly just use it to bolster my abilities, and use the power that they provide. But this guy has a weapon that gives him full control of the stones, something he calls the Infinite Gauntlet. What does all of this have to do with me? This is going over my head, said Magic. Naruto nodded. When I was out there, I learned that I'm not a fan of working on my own. And now after my last fight I realized there are people that I'm not going to be able to take on myself. I need a team. Realization hit her. So, you want me on this team? Does it have a name? Naruto smirked. I was thinking something like Infinity Watch. Something badass like that. As he leaned forward. So, thoughts? Ileana was thinking it over when the two felt another presence invade the room. As they saw another Naruto walking into the living room. The clone gave a lazy salute as he said, "How's it going, boss?" I am kind of in the middle of my sale pitch here, Naruto said. What was so important you couldn't pop to tell me? The clone reached into his pocket. You were right that Nick was looking for you. He came with this, as he tossed the flash drive over to Naruto. That is all of SHIELD files. Naruto blinked in surprise. Wow, that's helpful. He then turned to Ileana. You got a laptop? She got up as she went to her bedroom and came back with her laptop. As Naruto turned back to the clone, anything else? Yes, one of my globe trotting clones got popped before he could place a seal. in the capital of the country that he was in. Okay, the original asked in confusion, wondering how that was important. Well, he was popped in a third world country while fighting a group of women wearing red and silver armor. None of his kunais could pierce their armor, not even when it was applied to wind chakra. But they weren't the ones to kill it. It was a man dressed in all black body armor. It caught the clone by surprise. Huh? What kind of third world country have stuff like that? A place called Wakanda, the clone said. Meanwhile, at Wakanda, did you mind Shikechi, my son? T'Challa lowered his face. Well, when I intervened in the matter to stop him from harming the others, he popped. 1 second he was there, the next he exploded in a poof of white smoke. As we currently have T'Challa talking to his father who was sitting on the throne. As T'Chaka looked at his son, he popped. How strange. Has there been any other sightings of this man? I contacted the border tribe to see if there was any other sighting of this man, but they couldn't find any. T'Chaka stood from his throne. Tell him to continue, make it his top priority. A man as dangerous as this must be found. Up security around all of the other cities, and increase all of the patrol inside and outside the walls. Give all war dogs and the other any kind of information we have on the outsider, and tell them to keep their ears to the ground. What of me? Asked T'Challa, as he walked up to his son as he placed a hand on his shoulder. Sadly for you, dealing with the outsider have to wait. I have a mission for you. He bowed to his father. Whatever you ask of me shall be done. Tashana is taking Shiri to Obogo Aga to show her the facility there, despite my protests. As you know, a small militant group from Gudaza has showed up and are showing signs of advancing into our territory. I've informed Tishan of this, but the man insists that Shiri must begin to work on design that she's drawn up, and that is the only place they can do it without outside interference. I've been very vocal in my protests, but Shuri have managed to convince Ramonda to take her side. And you wish for me to watch over her? T'Challa asked. Yes, the king said. The others are currently searching for this man. You have many gifts, my son, but none of them would add anything for the searching this man. But you are quite useful in protecting your sister from harm. Can you do it? As he crossed his hands over his chest in a Wakanda solitude. Of course, my king, he said. As the king walked past his son. Wakanda forever, he said, as the door opened up, as the others said the same as well. Meanwhile, so where's this Wakamba? Naruto said. Wakanda, the shadow clone and Ileana corrected. Yeah, sure, Wakanda. Where is it? Naruto said. Eastern Africa. From what my clone could see, it seemed to be a third world country, but there doesn't seem to be any lack of jobs, or the place is not run down, and it doesn't lack health care. If anything, they seem to be prospering, even though they have zero assistance from the rest of the world. There's a handful of government buildings there, and university, and a few shrines dedicated to their gods as well. The clone was about to place a few seals around the Capitol building when he found the person who was tracking him and engaged them. As the original nodded, where he fought the African Amazons and the cat guy, he leaned back in the chair. Something is off here. The clone nodded back. It all seems a little staged, like we're supposed to see this and brush them off. But almost the entire time, the clone felt like he was being watched. And when he asked questions about the country, people got skittish, even suspicious. They're hiding something then, Ileana said, and clearly enough you made them nervous to send out a squad of whatever they are. As Naruto messed with the flash drive in his hand, if anyone would have known, it would have been Fury and Shield. The clone smirked, and whatever Shield knew, we now know. That is only if Fury didn't edit out some of the leaked data, and that is exactly his style. But it wouldn't hurt to look, said Ileana. Naruto shrugged. I didn't say I wouldn't look. It's too juicy not to. Don't tell me that he's gained an inkling of your trust back, brat, said Kurama. As Naruto scoffed, hell has yet to freeze over. It better not, brat. I thought you got past your blinding, trusting phase. I'm going to be pissed if it's still lingering around in your head. So what are you gonna do, Ileana asks, about Wakanda? Well, I can't lie, my urge to snoop around is pretty high. The best move would be to go back and get some information. He looked to his clone. How is that one technique coming along? That would make everything move a bit smoother. The clone rubbed the back of his neck. Well, to be honest, we still suck at it. How the hell do we still suck at that move? We've been working on it for like a year and a half. It hasn't been exactly top priority, the clone said. The original scoff. And whose fault is that? Yours, the clone said. Oh yeah. Idiot, the clone said. Poof. Naruto dispelled the clone, asshole, he said. So, when do we leave, Ileana asks. We, Naruto said. Well, you're forming a team, right? I think it's time this team has its first mission. Fair enough, but Wakanda can wait a bit longer. I want to check out this flash drive first. As she gave him the laptop, I'm gonna get changed, have at it, she said. As Naruto slipped in the flash drive in the computer. As he clicked on the icon, a window came up asking for a password. Damn it, Naruto cursed, as he leaned back trying to think what the password could be. As he looked over to the flash drive, well, as he saw the word written on the flash drive, secret stuff, so he wrote it in and pressed enter. A ding was heard saying that the password was a success, followed by another pop-up, this one containing several dozen files. As he skimmed through some of the file names, known Hydra agents, known Hydra supporters, Project Wrath, the Ragnarok prototype, the Negative Zone, the Watch List. As he then saw it, Uzumaki Naruto, of course, he said, as he saw a name under his, Reese Olin, born August 1991. He was born with the ability to manipulate molecules. He has been under SHIELD radar since birth. Raised solely by his mother, Reese grew up with little understanding or training of his abilities. It wasn't until the passing of his mother that his power truly manifested, that when he was 9, bending everything around him in his state, killing several dozen people. He was held in solitary for 13 years, his prison sentence, where he trained to control his powers. Deemed a non-liability by Director Fury and Secretary Pierce, Reese was released into the world under surveillance, currently classified as a threat, level Omega. Wow, Naruto said, haven't seen one of those in a while. As he looked at the next name, Murdoch Matthew. Birth, December 1982. Blinded by a substance at a young age, side effects being the improvement of all other senses. After further investigations, signs show that these improvements has reached superhuman level. Deemed as a non-threat, but further monitoring is advised. Recruitment recommended. As Naruto scrolled down, Van Dyke Hope, born 3rd August 1980. Daughter of SHIELD agents Ant-Man and Wasp. Skilled in hand-to-hand combat and very intelligent. It is highly likely that she would either recreate her father's suit. Deemed a possible threat, further monitoring is highly recommended. Naruto continued to go through the names Stephen Strange, Carl Lucas, Bill Foster, Pietro, and Wanda. The list went on, even Jessica and Ileana were on the list. But there was one that caught his eye, a name a person he'd come across before. Jennifer Walters, born the 3rd of March 1982, paternal cousin of Dr. Bruce Banner. After suffering a fatal gunshot wound, Walters were placed in an emergency care near death. Due to her mother passing earlier, her only blood relative was her cousin Banner, who reluctantly transferred his blood to save her life. It was after she was released from the hospital she received her first episode, transforming into a lesser yet still much hulky form. After further observation, we can say that she can transform just like Dr. Banner. But what it lacked for in strength, it is made up by her keeping her mind. Deemed a possible asset, recommend immediate recruitment. As Naruto read over the file again and again, as that was the one night stand that he had and she gave him her number. Well, shit, he said. But guys, we end this episode right here. If you want to see the next part, if you already know what to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn the bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends on social media platform, and stay in tune for the rest of the what ifs coming your way. But for now, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.